Hello, everybody, and good morning. Welcome to the Top Producer Show. So our mission is to educate, equip, and train servant leaders. Our vision is to create financially independent achievers, and our purpose is to help people grow. So before we get started on the next chapter of If You're Not First, You're Last by Grant Cardone, we are going to invite some people onto here.
Yes, we are. Then we're going to get to work because we got stuff to do.
Yes, we do. And it is March 1st already. We were actually just talking about last night how quickly this last month went by. Even had a burst of nice weather, which was nice. 60 degrees yesterday, which was really nice
Awesome.
After that snowstorm we had the week before, so. I almost wanted to have a picnic outside. I'm like, it's an outside day today. We need to do some calls outside.
Well, I have a friend that said that the little flowers outside his place are like this big already. Like
Really?
they're already growing. So crazy.
Alrighty. And here we go.
All right. If you're not first, you're last. We're actually on chapter 6. Multiply through existing clients. I've already read the chapter, of course. And basically what he's talking about is a principle called getting back to the people who you've already talked to. So I went through a training course. That's the one we're on, right?
Hold on. Yeah, that's the one we're on.
Because he rehashes kind of the same topic, but goes into a little bit different way of mentioning it. So I went through a program years ago called By Referral Only. By Referral Only, I think, was originally done by Joe Stump, who was actually from Indianapolis. And then Brian Buffini kind of grabbed that information from what I've been told and redid it, and then his house burned down. Coincidental? Maybe. I have no idea. But it did happen. From there, the By Referral Only program was introduced to me through a gentleman at Remax. And this gentleman at Remax basically had spent a ton of money. And when I say a ton of money, I mean he had spent thousands of dollars. So he gets into the real estate business and he's like, okay, I want to make this work. I need to get out and get in front of people. So he goes out and he spends, I think it was like $12,000. It was either $10,000 or $12,000 his first year. And you know, of course, that's a lot of money. And he was able to do double what he spent. So the next year, he's like, okay, this is a simple principle. I'll double it again. And I'm going to use, I know it was either 12 or 15, so I'm going to use 12. He went to 24,000. At 24,000, he ended up making $50,000. So of course, you know, you're doing simple math here. What does he need to do the next year? He spends like $50,000 and gets to 50, and doubles it again and gets to $100,000. Or just over $100,000, maybe $120,000. And he's like, this is stupid. What I need to do is I need to actually use the database, and I need to build this organically, is what he finally figured out. He goes, I need to build this organically. I need to build through the people who are already out there. I need to build through the people that I already know. So how did he do it? He started out by making a list of every single contact that he had. What's happening, Chance? Good morning, Jordan. So what he did is he made a list of every single contact he had. Sound familiar? And then from making the list of every contact that he had, he then kind of categorized that contacts as A, B, C. An A category. Raj, what's happening? Hope things are going well. And your recovery's coming along. I know, man, you're like the second, actually you're the third person I know that was in an accident in the January, February snowstorms. So we'll talk later and just make sure you're kind of back on track. But this guy, Brian Buffini, my friend from Remax that was telling us about this Brian Buffini program, went through these three categories. And I'm wondering if I have this. I know I have it on the computer downstairs. I might have it up here. By referral only, by referral only, by referral only. Bam. Okay, so I'm going to be able to read this to you. Because these are the notes on not only the program, but what he gave us that day. So, step by step, pick a database manager. So that was one of the first things he did. He picked a database manager to be able to load all of his contacts into. Next, create a names list of the people you know. And he said, I went through my Christmas card list. I went through every single possible. He goes, I wanted to load this thing as big as I possibly could get it. He goes, because I wanted all of my money coming out of this list. Second, categorize the names A, B, C, D. Send a grand opening letter. Call everyone on your list and use form questions. Ask them to be part of your e-newsletter. So he started an e-newsletter about what's going on. He set coffees and identified influential people, cultivated referral set goals. So here's how it works. First, pick a database system. And there's a bunch of them out there. Top Producer is actually a database manager. Build Lasting, Agent Office, Outlook, Excel, Notebook, Act. You've got GetResponse. What's the other big one? Aweber. GetResponse and Aweber are kind of like the two industry standards if you're going to build a large database before you hire, Oracle to build your own internal database. Like that's when you go over 100,000 people. Second, cultivate a names list, gathering the seeds. Include everyone. Do not prejudge. Include people like you, people who dislike you. Like he's like, I wrote down my ex-wife. Now my ex-wife probably isn't going to refer me business necessarily, but it's to trigger somebody else you know. Do not exclude people, friends, family, acquaintances, people you know, influence, business owners. Your goal is to start with a minimum of 100 people. He goes, everybody has to get to 100. You got to get to 100. Third, categorize it. I thought this was cool. People of influence. Next, friends and family. C, acquaintances. D, anyone out of town. Fourth, set a grand opening letter. Start short and sweet, handwritten envelopes. Include your card. Ask everyone if there's personal referrals. And guys, this would work better than ever because in the world of email and text message and all the shit social media stuff that we have, and I say that and I'm on social media, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, all the social media, there's so many bombardments, but when you get a handwritten, a tangible handwritten is the most open thing. Blue ink is the most open thing that comes in the mail. Like, so if you get 10 pieces of mail and something's handwritten, number one, you'll open it. If it's blue ink, you'll open it twice as fast. Why is that? Because traditionally, that's personal. Black ink is usually what? It's business. Personal is blue. Why is that? I have no idea. I'm sure we learned it in school, but I probably wasn't paying attention that day, like most days. Fifth, call everyone that you sent a letter to. Plan the harvesting system. Did you receive my letter or card? I wanted to let you know. I started in business. Let them know that you're excited about a new way of doing business. Now, could you do this in direct sales? You could. Actually, it'd probably work even better now. Would it be okay to add you to my e-newsletter? So that's the call is specific. Hey, I got a question for you. You could use a text message. Hey, I got a question for you. And they're like, what's that? Say, hey, I wanted to add you to my e-newsletter. Do you have an email that you actually look at? That's the key words. Because I have like 65 that I don't look at. I actually have a friend that I'm just going to give you the initials. It's FTS at Yahoo, which stands for fuck that shit. And he really does have this because, he has kids and they wanted to send him a bunch of garbage when he went to school. And they're like, sir, he was at a parent-teacher conference. And like, sir, do you have an email that we'd like to send that to? He's like, yeah, fuck that shit at yahoo.com. Excuse me? No, that's actually my email. This is where it goes because he's never going to look at it. So you want to get an email that people are actually going into. Shamala, how are you? Probably came in at an interesting time. Let them know you are excited about the new way of doing business. Would it be okay to add you to the e-newsletter? Collect all important information, address, emails, day and month they were born, anniversaries, day they purchased their home. If you're a real estate agent, you know that'd be good. Watch this, anniversary dates of business. This is really cool. I know somebody who did this in network marketing. They're like, hey, I just wanted to congratulate so-and-so who's been with us a year. Like he started because people do that at work. They're like, hey, you've been trapped for a year. Hey, they don't say that, but that's the truth. 6, set coffee with influential people. Water the seeds. So get to know them. Form, family, occupation, recreation, and the message. Ask questions. Grant talks about this in this chapter about sitting down with people, cultivating, asking questions. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Find ways to help people. Give out referrals. So one of the things I've heard from him and one of the things I've heard from Bob Berg is talk about connecting people. How can I help you? Grant talks about, he's like, who's your biggest competition? And the guy's like, I'm not going to give you the name of my competition so you can go help my competition. He goes, well, I think I already know who they are. Oak's here. What's up, sir? It makes sense that you even want to go talk to competition if you know who somebody's competition is. You know, who else is in the industry, who else is moving fast, who else is building. Give referrals, make connections, help them get a good deal, find support, find the people that you want to build a strong, long-term, lasting relationship. And goes back to Zig Ziglar's quote, if you help enough other people get what you want, you'll get everything you want. 7, cultivating referrals. Keep watering the seeds and they will grow. Block times for 5 personal notes each day. So this is his daily method of operation. Is this guy in real estate that I met wanted to basically make a bunch of money. And he wanted to work first thing in the morning and he wanted to be home by 3 o'clock. That's impossible in real estate. And here's why it's impossible. And he was in a weird situation. He had 3 kids and he's like, I actually want to see my kids grow up. I actually want to be there when they get off the bus. I want to ask them how their day was. I want to know what they learned in school. I want to be able to get a snack with them. I want to be able to do homework with them. I want to be able to do dinner with them. And then once dinner happens, then I can go back and work for a little bit and then put them to bed and then work some more. That was just his plan because he was new in business. So he blocked out times to write 5 personal notes each day. He also blocked out times for calls to add people to his list. So the very first thing he did, I remember this, he said, the first thing I did is I wrote the notes because that's what I wasn't good at. That's what I said I would do and I never did. So I did that first. There's a book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog. And Brian Tracy said, whatever's going to be the hardest thing for you to do that shit first. Because that way it's out of the way. It's the first thing you do. The reference is if you had to eat a frog, you do it first thing in the morning because you don't want to wait till the end of the day and think about it all day. You just want to get it over with. And that's what you do with the hardest thing. So whether it's your contacts, whether it's your follow-ups, whatever it is, I don't do follow-ups, but whatever it is, that's what you should do. So block 5 times for notes. Block for calls to add people to your newsletter. Block times for lunches and dinners. Block pop-bys. Block times for company parties every quarter. So this is kind of his daily method of operation is he's like, every day I write 5 notes, every day I make calls. And then what he did is he kind of scheduled everything like this. He did coffee, lunch, coffee, home. Went to the office first thing. He was there before everybody else. Wrote his notes. Got ready to make his calls. He did what he calls a coffee or pop by. A pop by is very influential people. It's very hard to get them to come to you. So what he would do is he would go to them and then he would bring them kind of promotional stuff. He goes, pens worked really well, pens with his number on it. And he started using something, he'd find out something they liked, whether it was soda or whether it was wine or not that you're supposed to give out alcohol, but he found out what people liked. And then he brought that to him at least once a month. He's like, I want to be in front of you. I want to be in front of you. And he asked the simple question. Do you have somebody that you refer real estate to? Okay, and you can use this for direct sales. You can use it for anything. Do you have somebody you refer real estate to buy, to sell, to invest? And if you don't, can I be that person? And if they said, yeah, sure, he would add them to the database. So he would go to these companies and he'd talk to the executives in the company. Because normally the main people are busy. So he talked to the secretary. Oh, hey, how are you? This, that, and the other thing. Oh, yeah, I'm a friend of so-and-so's, who runs the company. and I'm in real estate and blah 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 blah. And he goes, I can't tell you. Once I popped by there a couple times, I would get to know the secretary or the people at the front desk, and I would give them stuff. Why? Because they're the ones really taking the heat of all the bullshit that comes into the company. They're the ones having to tell people, the salespeople who are walking in the door, oh, I can't. He's like, man, if you meet salespeople, if you meet anybody sharp, I want you to give them my card. Say, go harass this person. This guy will go have lunch with you, especially if you're door knocking. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, he's getting all these referrals from all of these secretaries, all these front desk people. Awesome idea, right? I don't know why more people in direct sales don't use this technique. Block times to add people to your newsletter. Block times for lunches and dinners. So then he'd do 2 lunches. He'd do 2 lunches a day. He goes first lunch, snack, second lunch, snack. He's like, we shouldn't be eating as much as we're eating anyway. But he would it would always be at the same restaurant. He would do 1 lunch, he'd get an appetizer of some kind, and then he'd get a salad or something like that. He's like, I tried to eat 2 lunches a day, and then I needed a weight loss program. He goes, so I learned. Yes, you can do 2 lunches, but you can't eat twice 2 lunches, It's like, what is that, Lord of the Rings? Where the one hobbit's like, breakfast. What about second breakfast? You'll need different professional help if you do that. So block time for lunches and dinners. So he would do coffee, lunch, and then coffee in the afternoon. And typically what he would do is he would switch the coffees. It would either be pop by in the morning or pop by in the afternoon, depending on. And a pop by is nothing more than stopping by a business of an influential person, handing out some stuff, and then leaving. Now, what should you hand out? Should you hand out your card? No, that's being an asshole and just trying to sell every time you go in. It's not about handing out your card. It's about finding out what people like and bringing them something. And you're like, oh, but that's going to cost money. Yes, it's called the law of reciprocation. The law of reciprocation says if I get you something, even if it's as simple as coffee, eventually people are going to want to give back. They're going to want to give back. It's the law of reciprocation. You just feel bad. You want to give back. You're like, what can I do for you? I need a referral, which is free to them. So they're going to want to do it. Block times for company parties every quarter. So he did a party every single quarter, which obviously that takes some work, that takes some time. And he's like, I learned how to entertain. My goal of the party was not to party. The goal of the party wasn't to drink. The goal of the party wasn't to feed everybody. The goal of the party was to get a bunch of people in a room so they remember you. And he did 1 a quarter that was themed. Right? So if you did one like in March, what would the theme be? Probably St. Patrick's Day. And then you go April, May, June. What would you do in June? School's out. School's out. A school's out party. School's out for summer, right? And then you've got July, August, September, back to school. And then, October, November, December. In December, you do a holiday party at the very beginning of the month. He goes, you have to kind of build it around stuff. But you do a holiday party at the beginning of the month. How was the year? Hopefully the year was good. Hey, let's get ready. And then he'd start over again. January, he's like, hey, get ready. The party's coming in March. The party's coming in March. The party's coming in March. By the way, if you try to do parties and stuff right in January, a lot of people won't come out because it's cold, because it's this, because it's that. But you wait until March, people come out.
Yep.
It's just the way that it works. So 9th, the party, celebrate success, pick great places and fun activities, personal invites, letter invites, e-invites, it doesn't matter, RSVP always, get a way to find sponsors, because people are like, well, I can't afford it. Well, find somebody to sponsor it. Do you realize, as a real estate agent, it's really easy. As a real estate agent, you can go to banks, you can go to mortgage companies, you can go to title companies, you can go to inspection companies, you can go to appraisal companies. There's a bunch of different options, and they all like to sponsor stuff. They have money. I have a builder that's like, oh, I'll give you $500. I was like, I don't need $500. They're like, yeah, but we'll give you $500 for advertising. I don't need $500. I do everything what I do for like $100. And they're like, well, we'll give it to you. I was like, split it with me. Why? Because I don't need their money. But the fact that they're willing to give it is, you can't use the excuse, well, nobody's willing to. Yes, they are. Even if you're in direct sales, find similar companies that also want to get to the same people. They'll sponsor stuff for you.
And the other thing is a majority of the people who say that nobody wants to help, they also don't ask. So you kind of got to grow a little bit of a backbone when you start doing this, because everybody gets so concerned. They're like, oh, but what are they going to think of me? Are they going to think less of me? And it's more, you end up creating a different scenario in your head that's way worse than what it actually is. But once you actually get comfortable doing it, it's just going out and doing it enough where eventually it just becomes where you don't even think about it, you just do it.
10. Wow them. Harvest and give thanks for the blessings that you're receiving. He said customer service and beyond. So this goes back to the principle in Think and Grow Rich, which is do more than what's expected. Do more than what's expected. You know, expected is a show up and a handshake. But when you're giving out a gift when they leave, that's more than expected. It's like, wait a minute, you invited me to a party and you're giving something out. You invited me to lunch and you're paying. You popped by my office but brought something. Do you follow me? They know, and people are like, oh, that's a lot of money and this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, but it's a lot of referrals too. You know, how much money are you making right now? Nothing. So maybe you should save something and do this. And it can be simple. Pens aren't that much. Customer service and beyond. They must know they're special. Like, I went out of my way to do this for you. And then you remember birth dates, anniversaries, you know, what's going on, and you send people notes on this because you're the one who remembered. By the way, guys, it's before Facebook. When he was doing this, he's like, sometimes I was the only person who remembered their birthday or the only person who remembered their anniversary. Sometimes people forget their own anniversary, right? They must know that they're remembered. The date that they bought their house. Obviously, if you're in real estate, that's important. The date that somebody joined your business. You can go, I mean, in most network marketing companies, you can go look that up. Be like, what was the inception date of this person? They must know that they're appreciated. A note to say hi, thanking them for the network. Do the thing and you'll have the power. It's one of the quotes that says, with consistent action comes consistent results. Follow these 10 principles and you'll never go without referrals. I said that, I guess, in a meeting, so I wrote it down. Keep growing. Never stop planning, planting, watering, celebrating, harvesting, and giving thanks. After each sale, send a survey. Hey, real quick, can I get a survey? Give abundantly to receive greatness. Yes, sir, that is true, Mr. Petty. If they think highly of you, they will basically fill in the 3 to 5 names every time you meet them. Hey, I got some people for you. Meaning the law of reciprocation. I give you something, you're giving back. I give you something, you're giving back. If they know someone looking to buy, sell, or invest, they'll give that referral to you. And that's the goal. So that's a nutshell of what he said in this chapter. I just thought this was much more specific. Okay. That's what it's all about, guys. Appreciate everybody for jumping on. Hope things are going well, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Sounds good. If you haven't yet, you want to go to the Top Producer Show Facebook page, and you want to go join that page, and also go follow us on YouTube. So that way, each one of these videos is going to be uploaded to there, and that way you guys can go back and rewatch this. And 10X Conference is going to be this month, so once we go through, we're going to go through that this month, and we're going to have notes on it. So if you guys would like those notes, and we're going to be doing an overview of what we got out of that event, so you want to stay tuned for that as well, because that is coming up. So I will see you guys tomorrow.